From predatory beasts to aquatic creatures, from snails to prey insects, all concealed inside one terrarium. This is the start of my riverside terrarium, with a functioning river front and land at the back. This is perfect for amphibians and creatures alike. Scattered with decomposing plants and leaf litter, the water is full of micronutrients. The land section of this terrarium is heavily planted with moss and small plants to ensure a great habitat for the new inhabitants. In this pot is all the new inhabitants that I'll be releasing on day 1. While the snail explores their new terrarium, let me show you the aquatic section. Taking a look under the water, you can see the empty barrenness of this scape. Dead leaves and duckweed scatter the bottom of the terrarium floor that will hopefully decompose and create nutrients for any future inhabitants. Here a ramshorn snail is currently withstanding the force of the river. Coming back later that night, I could see the life in this terrarium. Small bugs and insects like woodlouse have come out to find food. Looking into the tree bench, you can see these ones snuggling together. It had been a few days and the barrenness of the water had finally got to me. I saw these river shrimp for sale at our local fish store as feeder food, but I decided they wanted a new home in my terrarium. Sadly, one of them did die on the way. They should be eaten or decomposed in this terrarium, so it should be okay. I tested the river pump, but I don't think the shrimps like it, so I didn't use it much. Above the terrarium, all the dampness had started a fungal invasion. Mushrooms and small fungi had started to sprout all around the terrarium, and the duckweed and limnophilia that came with the shrimp has gone mad and spread everywhere across the water. Here I took close-up shots of the mushroom heads, as well as this big patch of moss the mushroom decided to grow out of. Here, a small garlic snail was sleeping. It had been a couple of weeks and the terrarium was overflowing with life. Zooming into the water, you could see that the shrimp and the snails were getting on perfectly. Here, a river shrimp tucks into his meal of a decomposing leaf. Looking around the terrarium, you can see more life everywhere you look. I think this tree stump is the isopod's favourite place to sleep. The terrarium was officially a month old, and you could see this in the life and the growth of the plants and animals. While filming, I found this little guy. I don't know what he is, so if you know, comment down below. I think he's some sort of springtail, but I don't know for sure. On one of the days, I decided to feed the shrimp a cucumber, and it's safe to say they really enjoyed it. I love the way the roots of the duckweed and limnophila make the bottom look like a jungle. After definitely not dropping my camera, I decided it was time for a predator. Since the very start of this video, I have been raising these little guys. Although they are only small now, they will be big very soon. These are Rana temporaria tadpoles, and they grow into common frogs. But looking in the terrarium, it was far too overgrown to release them. Plants covered the bottom of the water, and moss and other plants scattered the surface of the top. Duckweed built up on the sides of the terrarium where the water level had lowered, and these vines covered the whole surface of the land. Here's where I was forced to make a tricky decision: keep the terrarium as an ecosystem, or step in and allow my frogs to move in. I decided to step in. I needed to fix it for the frogs. Moving some of the dirty plants around, I could finally introduce you to Kermit the Frog.
NANI?!
He was the biggest out of all my tadpoles, and ventured out of water early in the evening and headed into the terrarium.
Huh?
Although he wasn't the smartest, he was pretty cool, and he was definitely a great idea to get one of these for
If you
the
find the
terrarium.
one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround
Hello there.
myself with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah.
As I gently removed the lid, I thought of how this frog will love his new terrarium. I picked him up and placed my hand into the terrarium before gently letting him jump off into the wilderness. He immediately looked around, wondering where he was. You could see his little brain think as he wondered to himself where he was. I was worried he wasn't going to do anything before he was off and on the move. Sitting in the corner of his new world, as I closed the lid,